Foreign ministers from some of the world's top economies are meeting today in Indonesia under the G-20 format. Russia's war in Ukraine is a central focus of discussions. Chinese trade relations are also on the agenda. The country's foreign minister was scheduled to meet his counterpart from Australia for the first time in 3 years. The two are expected to discuss Beijing's unofficial trade embargoes on Australian coal and wine, among other products. China took those steps in reaction to Australian politics that were deemed critical of Beijing. Here's Australia's foreign minister on how she planned to approach that meeting.
Now, we all know we have our differences. There are challenges in the relationship. But we believe engagement is necessary to stabilise the relationship. The approach of the Australian government will always be centred on Australia's national interests. That is how we will approach this meeting. That is how we approach all of our international engagement. And we will do so calmly and consistently. We will do so diplomatically and directly.
All right, Richard McGregor is a senior fellow for East Asia at the Lowy Institute in Sydney. He joins me for more. Richard, thanks for coming on to the show. We just heard from Australia's foreign minister. I would say she suggested how intense this dispute between the two nations has been, saying we're going to approach it calmly, we'll be reserved. What can we expect out of this meeting? Do we have any idea?
I think you should expect very little. They have not met. There's been no sort of meetings between foreign ministers, as you say, for nearly 3 years. I think there might be a bit of venting on both sides. Both sides will have a lengthy laundry list of complaints. They will have to get through them for their own political purposes. I think the thing to look for is what is scheduled to happen after this. In other words, will there be any forums, any talks, any issues identified that the two sides can continue to talk about? But nobody should think this is a reset in the relationship. That reset implies it's going back to what it was. I think, as the Foreign Minister Penny Wong said, it's about stabilising the relationship.
Australia has seemed to weather these embargoes pretty well, even if certain branches have suffered under them. Could it serve as something of a blueprint or encouragement for other nations who are facing similar penalties from China?
Well, it's possible. If you look at other nations that have been subjected to economic coercion from China, most recently, South Korea in 2016, 2017, they weathered that. But like Australia, some industries suffered significantly. So I think I think the lesson from this is that, it's not easy to coerce a country economically. It's not easy to force another country in such a sort of naked fashion to sort of change policy and the like. And it almost always has a very negative effect on public opinion in the target country, which really just helps strengthen a government's resolve. So I don't think China thinks it's been a success, but I have to say that Australia might be a little bit complacent about its ability to withstand this, because we've benefited from high commodity prices. We're a commodity exporter. China doesn't have anywhere else to go for a number of commodities. So we've got through it, but we've had a bit of luck as well.
Richard, briefly, if you can, does China not also have incentives to repair these relations when we look at its appetite for coal, for example? That is one of the biggest exports from Australia.
Yeah, well, they're not taking any Australian coal anymore. They're getting it from Russia. China seems to have a great tolerance for annoying many countries at the moment, so I'm not quite sure what their appetite is for really repairing relations.
All right, Richard McGregor at the Lowy Institute, thank you very much.
Thank you.